Good morning, marketing class. Welcome to day 30. Hope things are going well. Just continuing on with learning about all the wonderful things in marketing. I'm sure you guys are loving this. First off, let's start off with some good news. No assignment today. Just the only assignment is you need to watch this video and just let me know that you watch the video and say, hey, BMAC, nice video, or whatever. There's no points, so if you don't do it, you're not going to lose points, but it's just kind of good to know who's watching the video, who's not watching the video. So today, we're going to talk about the importance of introducing new items and how they really keep a business going. This is one of the 7 core functions of marketing, which is the product or service management. And new items is the is the biggest key to this. The way I would look at this is if you look at cars, for example, and the first car that was sold in the United States was called a Model T, and it was made by Ford, and it was the only car. And so if you wanted a car, you had to buy a Model T. Well, so if you're Mr. Ford and you've got this car and it's the only car that people can buy, you probably are wondering, well, why do I need to come up with something better? Well, just imagine if Mr. Ford was now trying to sell Model Ts exactly like they were back when the car was first introduced. Cars have changed a lot since then, and literally no one would be going and buying a Model T Ford because we like things like air conditioning and radios and windows and heated seats and all these things that cars have now that didn't come on the first Model T Ford. So that's why Mr. Ford kept making better products. There started to be competition, and when someone would come out with a new car, they would have things that the Model T didn't have, and so the car companies to this day have to keep adding new things to cars. They never stop and say, okay, we've created the perfect car, we're done, we're not going to change anymore. Same thing with the cell phone. If you look at the first cell phone, if I think of the first cell phone that I had, this huge thing that was not going to fit in your pocket, all it could do was make calls. But if you wanted a cell phone, that's what you had to go and buy. Well, now you can see how cell phones are constantly changing. Now we have the smartphone, and Apple's not sitting here thinking, okay, with this Apple X or whatever the latest iPhone is, they're not saying, hey, with this latest iPhone, this is going to be it. This is the best smartphone you're ever going to have. We're not going to try to make any changes. It just wouldn't work, and eventually people would stop buying Apple phones if they didn't come out with new product features and make their phones even better with more stuff. So that just kind of shows you the importance of introducing new items as a company. Okay. Now, when you introduce a new item, it goes through what is called a product life cycle. Okay, you have different stages that a product is in. For example, let's stick with talking about the iPhone. You have what is called an introduction phase. And so that's when the product is introduced. It hasn't been around for very long. It's a new product. The company's spending a lot of money advertising it. So for the iPhone, that would be, and I don't know the latest iPhones, I apologize, but let's call it the iPhone XR. So that would be the iPhone that is in the introduction stage, okay? Then you're going to have the next phase. After it's introduced, the product is going to go through a growth cycle. So it's going to continue to grow, and you're going to have more sales today than you had yesterday. But it's still growing because you'll have more sales tomorrow than you had today, okay? And I would say the iPhone XR, that's the stage that it's in, that it's been introduced and it is growing. Okay, then the next stage that you have is called the mature stage, which means that you're still selling a lot of the product, but it's not growing. You're not selling more today than you sold yesterday. You may sell the same amount today that you sold yesterday, or you might even sell a few less phones today of this iPhone X than you sold yesterday. So that is a product that is in the mature stage. So if you look at iPhone, your whatever came out after the iPhone 8 would be in the mature stage. I would say the iPhone 8 is probably in a mature stage, okay? Then you have the next thing. The next stage is called the decline. And that's where you see the sales of the product are going down, that you're selling less today than you sold yesterday. So I think you could still probably go in and buy an iPhone 7 somewhere, but they're not selling near as many iPhone 7s as they did a year ago. And so the iPhone 7 would be in the decline stage of the product life cycle. Okay, so just a quick review. First stage is when it's introduced. Second stage is the growth stage where it grows. Third stage is the mature stage. And the fourth stage is decline stage. And then the last and final stage would be you can no longer buy it. It's done. For example, that would be an iPhone 6. I mean, you can't go into a store and buy a brand new iPhone 6. There's still a lot of people that use the iPhone 6, but it's not generating revenue for Apple anymore because people cannot go into an Apple store and buy an iPhone 6. Okay? Okay. Like I said, no assignment today. Just shoot me an email and said, "Hey BMac, loved your video." And who can tell me who the poster is right here? Tell me who this is. Look forward to hearing your responses, and we will talk to you again on Friday. BMac out.